Call the meeting to order. Would you all please rise for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Clerk, can you call the roll, please?
Heltzman. Lorenzen.
Here.
Patrick.
Here.
Zuber.
Here.
Bruner.
Here.
Farnham. Voigt.
Here. Okay, next on the agenda is the minutes from January 13th regular meeting and January 19th special meeting. I assume you've had a chance to look at those, gentlemen. Is there a motion to approve those minutes as presented?
These for both the special and the regular, you want this combo, or these have to be?
Yes.
So moved.
Is there a second, please?
Second.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Does carry. Claims against the county. You've had those. Are there any questions about the claims against the county? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the claims for the county?
So moved.
Mr. Bruner moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Patrick seconds. Assuming you're all ready to vote, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. They are approved. County board member claims. Assume you've looked at those. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Mr. Zuber, is there a second, please?
Second.
Jerry Lorenzen seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. They are approved. Okay, public comment.
Morning, gentlemen. My name is Robert Pogue. I'm a citizen of the United States of America. I'm a veteran of the United States Army, and I'm a resident of Edgar County. In the past, I've spoke about the airport many times. I'm glad to see there's been some improvement. I also am aware that your grant has been held up, temporarily held up, it would seem. I thought this morning I would read the law under which the Edgar County Airport is functioning, part of it anyway. It is 620 ILCS 40/1. There's a paragraph that says no land may be used for the expansion of the airport landing fields until it has been zoned for airport purposes by the county or municipality having the zoning power over such land, as the case may be. My understanding of the freeze on funding for the Edgar County Airport is that they completed an airport expansion on the main runway, which was in violation of this law. They also did a crosswind runway that was in violation of this law. And this county also purchased a residence there on the west end of the runway, which would have been in violation of this law. I don't know how the Division of Aeronautics is going to resolve that, but I suppose that could have a downside for this county. They also, in discussions with the Division of Aeronautics, have been assured that their focus is on Edgar County, and that the grant assurance issues where people have not been treated fairly will be addressed. And this is separate from correcting the issues that are now on the table before you. So I want to thank the county board for presumably accepting Jerry Griffin's resignation. If you read in the Paris Beacon News, apparently Jerry doesn't see it that way. I think he felt like his job was terminated. Nonetheless, I think it's it's an improvement. So That is all I have this morning, gentlemen. Thank you.
Other additional comments?
Well, I wasn't gonna say anything, but I will. I know you're working on redoing the T-hanger lease. And I know I read the letter from the insurance company, and they talked about the difference between commercial operations and non-commercial operations. But I wish that you would at least address and define what you consider commercial operations when it involves the T-hangers and the leases. Because, you know, the normal person would think if it's registered to Jim Bob Incorporated, then that's a commercial operation, as opposed registered to Jim Bob as a person. That's my take on it. And the other thing is, please do something with the airport policy manual. It's never been approved. Either approve it or, well, I mean, I think you need to approve it because the airport needs to operate under a policy, so people can refer to the policy. And policies ensure fair and equal treatment if they're written down and followed. Thanks.
Additional public comments?
Good morning, gentlemen. For those of you that do not know, my name is Drew Griffin. I'm an attorney here in town, resident of Edgar County. I'm here today because I have been approached by a small group of clients who have taken an interest in an agenda item that they just recently recognized. It looks like on today's agenda, there is an item about taking action with regard to extending a lease out at the airport regarding the main hangar. All I've been asked to do today is bring it to the county board's attention that there is a group of individuals who would be interested in possibly bidding on that to lease that space. As we all know, generally, competitive bidding process increases the amount that comes in, and what they are asking is that the county considers putting this lease out for bid as opposed to just taking action to continue what I believe is a 2-year lease that doesn't expire until the 1st of June of this year. We're in February right now. I know June it's coming up, but it's not necessarily immediate. We believe that there's plenty of time for the county board to choose to table this matter, to not take any action yet with regards to whether or not they're going to extend the current lease, and to consider putting this out for bid. We also believe there's a statute out there that we don't think that the board's necessarily aware of, but we think that it could have a bearing on this bidding process. Just for the record, it's 620 ILCS 40/6, and it talks about certain parameters for when the county board decides to lease certain segments of an airport facility. It's, of course, subject to interpretation, but our group's interpretation of it is certain instances require that the lease be put out for bid before it's just granted. And so, again, ultimately, what we're asking is that no action be taken today with extension of that lease, that there is time, and we would implore the county board to consider reviewing the statute cited, as well as the statutes also in that chapter, because we think they will see that there is a statute mandating that this be put out for bid, and also just for the benefit of the county as an opportunity to increase the amount of revenue that be coming in from that lease, and also possibly ensuring that whoever the lessee is of that portion of the hangar is, or the group that might come together to do it, depending on what type of entity might be formed, you know, is a group that would be able to be there, be present, and, you know, help manage the hangar efficiently. So, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any other additional comments? Hearing none, we'll move on to the agenda. Number 8 is Highway Resolution authorizing County Board Chairman to sign a preliminary engineering service agreement with Hampton Lenzini and Renwick, Inc., CH8, Section 16-00131-00-BR. Aaron, anything to comment on this?
This is the professional service agreement with HLR, who did the environmental on the horse rock and resurfacing. It's a not to exceed PSA for them to help us design and implement an improvement on the box that's been posted on the Horse Rock Road.
They have some structural engineering within their basis, don't they?
Yes,
I mean, that's what they are.
They're primarily structural.
Any other questions of Aaron, board members? I'll accept a motion to approve this resolution. Mr. Farnham moves. Mr. Bruner seconds. All those in favor, oh, I'm sorry, I need a resolution called, please.
Roll call.
Roll call.
Helsley.
Yes.
Lorenzen.
Here.
Patrick.
I'm here, I also, yes.
Zuber.
Yes.
Bruner.
Yes.
Farnham.
Yes.
It is approved. Thank you. Next item is to authorize the chairman to execute the memorandum of understanding with Illinois FOP Labor Council deputies and County of Edgar / Edgar County Sheriff. Is there a motion to authorize the chairman, please? Mr. Farnham?
Second.
Mr. Patrick, seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. It does carry. Thank you. Next, Airport Committee, appoint Airport Committee for Memorandum of Understanding with, I'm sorry.
Board.
Yeah, that's, oh, I'm sorry. Memorandum of Understanding Committee, right? That's what I said, wasn't it?
Airport.
Oh, I said airport? Oh, that might be on my mind. Okay, anyway, the committee we're going to appoint is Carl Farnham, Andy Patrick, and Jeff Voigt. That will be the committee that will represent the board in our discussions with those groups revolving around overtime, and the other item is insurance. Okay, next one is number 11, correct? Ordinances approving real estate abatements for Cadillac Products Packaging Company for Edgar County, Edgar County Special Services Ambulance, Community Mental Health Board, and the Public Health Department. As you recall, this was an agenda item before, and public health had been left off of this. So, any discussion or motions on this ordinance?
Could you review that a little bit, like maybe what you said, or do you feel comfortable in doing that so people have an idea, or did you have a chance to?
Yeah, the city of Paris presented this ordinance to us. Cadillac Products is planning an expansion, building and equipment, and they've asked for a tax abatement. It's a 10-year abatement, and then I believe it's by the third year they have to have invested or expended $5 million towards building and equipment in order to continue the abatement. The schedule is pretty routine. I don't have it memorized, but I could look it up. But the first 5 years, I believe it's 100%, and then it declines proportionally, 80, 60,
This is on
40.
the expansion.
It's on the expansion, yes.
We had one just expire from NAL. What, was that a year and a half ago or a year ago? Okay.
There's another one on NAL now, right?
Is there, yes.
Yes.
Is there a motion then?
I'd make that motion.
Mr. Zuber moves, is there a second?
Second.
Derek Lorenzen seconds. I assume you're ready to vote. I'll need a roll call, please.
Helsley.
Yes.
Lorenzen.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Zuber.
Yes.
Bruner.
Yes.
Farnham.
Yes.
6-0.
It does carry. Thank you, gentlemen. Next is a resolution authorizing chairman to execute deed of conveyance on parcel number 09-18-01-101-006, 514 North Jefferson, Paris, Paris, Illinois, per request by Joseph E. Meyer, our tax agent. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do we have a second? Andy seconds. Okay. Any questions about the issue? I assume you're ready to vote. We need a roll call, please.
Helsley,
Yes.
Lorenzen,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Zuber,
Yes.
Bruner,
Yes.
Farnum.
Yes.
It does carry. Next, we have a resolution amending jurors' fees per request of Stephen L. Garst, Circuit Judge. Mr. Zuber, you've been up there talking to him most recently.
Discussing this with Judge Garst, this puts us more in line with, I think that most of the rest of the counties around. We did this earlier, I believe it was, it's listed in here, April 15th of 2015. And we did that based on what we thought was appropriate at the time. Since that, we've tried to find, in order to be fair to people who are basically in civil cases, this is the amount of money they're going to have to put down ahead of time if they want a jury trial more than 6. And it was pretty exorbitant because that's what we thought we could charge, but we don't really have that many. And the judge feels, in fairness to people who would be involved in that, and also with what everybody else is doing around, this is more appropriate. And in listening to him, I would make this motion.
Okay, Alan Zuber moves the approval of this resolution. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Mr. Lorenzen seconds. Is there further discussion? Assuming none, would you please call the roll?
Helsley,
Yes.
Lorenzen,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Zuber,
Yes.
Bruner,
Yes.
Farnum.
It does carry. Thank you, gentlemen. Next is a resolution to participate in meetings and conferencing via electronic means. Augie, you want to talk about this a little? I mean,
We've talked off and on over the past about board members being able to participate in the meeting via, most commonly it's going to be a speakerphone, a conference call, if for some reason they can't make the meeting. So I asked Mark to look into that and draw up a resolution, and he basically is taking it right out of the Open Meetings Act. You have to have a quorum to conduct a physical quorum to have the meeting, and then there are certain circumstances that permit the use of electronic or other means, basically conference call. Emergency situations that would call a board member out of town, physical inability to get to the meeting, sickness, those types of things. So,
and our state's attorney, like you said, to start with, is
yeah,
laid forth this. And,
yes, he
okay.
brought that. I told him what we wanted, and he and I looked at this a couple of times. I asked him a question or two about it, and he answered that, and he said, "This is what you need."
Any further discussion or questions of Augie, board members?
When can we ask questions about these things?
Public comment time was at the beginning of the meeting. You can discuss it with board members individually after the meeting or with department heads at your pleasure. Okay?
I've
Yes,
got a
sir.
question. I read that, but I didn't see where it said, that includes committee meetings and any posted meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
Is there a motion to approve that? Go ahead, Alan.
The only thing I would say on this is that I would hope that most people would do their utmost to still make a physical presence.
Yeah, this
at
isn't
a meeting.
a crutch
And
to,
I think that's
yeah. This is in
a part
extreme
of the fun of it,
circumstances,
you know,
right.
to be here and discuss things. And so I would hope that, because I think there's a clause in here, I was looking, I can't find it. You're supposed to let people know 24 hours ahead of time.
Right,
if
it's on the
something-
first page at
And
the
if
very
also,
bottom.
if there's something, an emergency basis, that's an entirely different subject, but you also wouldn't want the county not to proceed with business if, or, you know, to have a vote, because maybe somebody was called out of town or broke their leg or something, they physically can't get here, so that would be my only concern.
There's someone,
Go ahead. Is
there's
that-
someone that's in charge of setting up the equipment and so forth that's required for that?
Yeah, the recording secretary, which would be the county clerk.
Okay.
Is that gonna require us to buy like a conference call center?
No, it's gonna require an extension cord for that telephone right there. We'll put it on speakerphone, and that's how I intend it to operate, but
And we have the same thing out at the highway.
the same thing at the highway office.
Yeah, my concern being that, the likelihood of that being used on a regular basis is nil, so probably need
Yeah.
to buy infrastructure to support that, it seems kind of foolish.
The question that I had for Mark was, what if a board member is on vacation? Can that board member phone in? And the answer to that is, no, that's not the purpose of this section in the Open Meetings Act. It's more for circumstances that will arise that
So,
would,
I found it on you.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt. It says personal illness or disability, employment purposes, or business of the board. In other words, if you were doing something with the board here, or a family or other emergency. Those are, that's pretty well read.
Like when you were out in Colorado, you know.
Well, the waves crashing on the beach would be distracting to the meeting.
yeah, that's right. And another classic example would have been, if I don't mind saying, we had a board member who was unable to attend a meeting due to a recent physical situation, and
Old age.
he opened the door, Dan, I did not.
We didn't say
You're out of order.
Should be there one of the days.
That would have been an accepted use of this provision.
Thanks.
Do you want to, does somebody want to make a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Derek Lorenzen moves, Carl Farnham seconds. Any further discussion, gentlemen? Okay, roll call, please.
Sir. Helsley,
Yes.
Lorenzen,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Zuber,
yes.
Bruner,
Yes.
Farnham.
Yes.
6-0.
It is approved. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 15 is authorize airport committee to bid fuel purchases at airport. Mr. Lorenzen, do you have any comment on that?
So we'll put that together and put it out. We have a few businesses that will be interested, we think, so we'll get that out as soon as we can.
Is there, do you move it?
And some,
Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Farnham seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. It is carried. Item 16, action on extension of commercial lease. Do I have a motion to table?
so moved.
Mr. Lorenzen tables, Mr. Farnham seconds.
Yes.
Any further discussion? Well, there's no discussion of tabling motion, pardon me. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is tabled. Accept resignation of Jerry Griffin, airport manager. Mr. Lorenzen,
Nope. So moved.
is there a second?
Yes. Second.
Mr. Bruner seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay? It is accepted. Action to appoint interim airport manager. Mr. Lorenzen.
So Tom Tuttle will be taking the interim position. We're going to get the notice out here rather quickly as far as looking for other applicants to the position. Move to appoint Tom Tuttle as our interim airport manager.
Is there a second? Mr. Farnham seconds. Any further discussion? Assume you're ready to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. He is appointed. That would appear now we have department heads. Oh, what I forget. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Sorry about that.
Where is it? 19.
Advertise.
Authorize, oh, yes, I saw that. Authorize airport committee to advertise for airport manager. And you pretty much
Already
outlined
discussed
what we're
that,
doing.
so I move to
Mr. Lorenzen moves.
Second.
Okay. Mr. Bruner seconds. Assuming you're ready to vote, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, thank you. Department heads. Augie? Or do you want to go last?
I'll go last.
All right. We'll ask Cheery to go first. Hi, Don.
Thank you, Chairman. you have your report in front of you, and yes, it's got some extra information on it. Something I've been meaning to do in this time of year, once the audit is on its downhill slide, I had some time to go ahead and put some prior years on it, take up some more paper space that was being wasted, with the intent of giving the board a little bit of forecasting, projection, whatever, in case they wanted to see just any trends going on in some of those funds. I've also put the funds in numerical order on that top part because, as you can see towards the bottom down there where it's like the 853, 54, this is in the order in which they came into existence. And as you can see, back going a few years, when there's a line right there, that means they didn't even exist then. These come about because of statute or request by a department to create another fund so they can track monies going in and out. The newest one that's been added, the very last one, 856, is the Sheriff's Canine Fund. As you can see, it's got a balance in it right now. It would have started out at around $80,000, but we have since spent some of the money as required to get this program running, going. The auditors, I think, they did a lot of it before they got here in the county, and now I think they're going to do a lot of it now back in their home base. I don't know if there's any more time that they need to spend with any department heads. They may know better than I if they need to come and say, don't they have to do a special audit for you? Have they already done that? There is a special audit, though I forget what they call it, but so I'm sure there's still some things to do. You mentioned earlier about, on the agenda item, about juror fees, and this is for Sandy also. I have a lot of, when I say a lot, a few, whatever, outstanding checks from jurors over the years. Eventually, after 7 years, I have to give it to the state, and I hate giving anything to the state with a passion. Let me say that again. I hate giving the state anything. Okay. I would hope that when you discuss things with jurors or what have you, please encourage them to cash their checks. They're really, I don't like voiding checks, and I sure as heck don't like giving it to the state. They're welcome to donate it back, and I'm not trying to be funny about it, but we do have people that donate things like this back to the county. All they got to do is bring it into the treasurer's office, sign it, pay to the order of the county, and they can donate it back if they'd like. Okay. Other than that, I'm very pleased with our cash flow right now. The state came through with public defender reimbursement, state's attorney reimbursement, and supervisor assessment reimbursements. So the state, I think, was encouraged to come through with it. I won't go into that, but they came through with it, and I can't complain about that right now.
Are we caught up, Donnie?
For the most part, yes, give or take a month, yes. Used to be the state's attorney would get it for the month before, almost the first few days of the month for that month. They were right on top of it for the state's attorney. Well, now we're caught up. Any questions from anybody? Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Don. Aaron? Nicole, Eric? Eric, Nicole? Okay. Sandy? Dina?
Sorry, I always do.
That's
I
fine.
have 2 people that went and took the assessor's exam in Springfield yesterday, pending results and approval with their multi-township boards. We will begin reassessment on the west side of the county as soon as the weather breaks. And we will report what vehicle will be into the county sheriff in case there's concerns. Thank you.
Thank you, Dina. Janet?
Nothing other than new heating system. I've issued the purchase order for that for the health department. Hopefully they'll start work on that next week. Called the repair guy 3 times in the past 2 weeks, so hoping that'll move along fairly quickly. Plugging along, the whole purpose of having reserve funds in the health department is if something happens with state funding that we are able to continue. That's where we're at. We are in our reserve funds. Hopefully something will break soon with the state budget. If it doesn't, then we'll address it as it comes.
Thank you, Janet. Any questions? Sheriff?
Not a thing other than we're still a popular place to visit.
You got a full house?
Full house.
Full house. A little bit more? Oh, no, never mind, don't answer.
Sheriff, have you seen a return, a copy of the DOC report where they visited you?
No, they were just here last week. It'll probably be a month before we get that back yet.
Okay.
Okay, Jill?
We got our emergency operation plan for the county, reviewed and approved by the state, back in January. And we set the date for our 2016 exercise. It is Thursday, May 12th.
Any questions of Jill? Okay, make sure I don't miss anybody here. Augie?
First of all, I want to thank Eric and Nicole for helping us complete our grant application for the AEDs for the courthouse and the annex. So we're anxiously awaiting news on that, unless you have any inside knowledge as to when they'll make that announcement.
Mid-April.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we won't hold our breath, but it's coming soon, hopefully. So thank you for all your help there. We did start early voting on February the 4th, which was the scheduled start date. So, and as of last night, we had 48 in-house early voters, and we've had 30 ballots that we have mailed out, and we're waiting to return on those. So all in all, things are going good. We're open for voting. Questions? Anybody for me?
Thanks,
That's
Augie.
it.
Board member reports. Michael?
I don't have anything.
Carl? Derek?
We covered a lot of mine, a couple of things. Actually, just working on the T-hanger lease, getting that refined. Don't have a date on that yet, but forthcoming.
Thank you. Mr. Zuber?
Not much other than we talked a little bit, study session, Andy and I are, me and Mike, looking at our different buildings. It's that time of the year. Last year, we did kind of like a walkthrough of everything, and so we're trying to get a meeting together to where we can look at all of our department heads and elected officials, and maybe have a meeting where they can come in and tell us what's going on presently and in the future, what there may have some needs there. So, other than that.
Thank you. Andy?
A couple things, we took the carpet up in here.
Now it's different.
We decided, someone made the statement, we need to replace the carpet. We took off a piece back in the corner and saw what was under it, and I thought, well, if we have to replace it, we're gonna have to take it up anyway, so we took it up and had Bob clean and polish this. We're gonna see if they like it, and if they don't, I guess we can carpet it back. We're gonna be farther back than where we were when we started, so. And this was, I don't know if this is original, or it certainly was, it was here before the carpet, so, let us know what you think.
Are you sure of that? Are you sure of that?
And we, moving along, should be done this week with, we've taken part of the old law library that was in the back of the courtroom and opened that up to probation. They've added a couple offices back there. It was kind of just a place where really, I don't know that anybody went there. With the onset of computers, a lot of those old books were no longer needed. The judge said no one uses books anymore. Everything's done on the computer, online now. So he, with his permission, he picked which books were no longer used. We got rid of those and made a couple extra offices back there in probation. It should be done this week or first of next week. I think it looks real nice. Real improvement and utilization of the building. So at this point, that's about all I have.
Thank you, Andy. Mr. Bruner?
Talked to Andrew last week, the animal shelter, have a lot of adoptions, so everything's going well out there. Hadn't had much chance to talk to Janet, although she is there this morning, and I was gonna ask her about, we are losing our dentist, and I didn't know if you had any more resumes or any update on that.
I have no more resumes at this time. We're continuing to advertise more. But unfortunately, I've not gotten
Okay.
any responses yet. I've just had one.
I
That's,
think July, right, is when these.
yes, his contract is up in July.
Okay. Other than that, no problems.
Okay. Carl?
I had one question on the automatic doors. Do you know where we're at on that, Augie, or anything?
Yeah, I do. We're working on that.
Okay.
About all I can tell you.
As far as I'm concerned, Craig DeArmond he's the chief judge up in Danville. He's been working with Judge Garst in coming up with something, and I think Mr. Zuber sent you an article or was some kind of information on electronic. Everything is going to be, in courts are now going to be electronic, and all of the records are electronic. And this court system here in our county is going to have to be eventually converted. I think 18 is the date that everything has to be converted, but he's going to keep us posted, and we're going to deal with it in a appropriate way, keep communications up, and we'll do the best we can to implement those guidelines that the state Supreme Court has come up with. Okay. Is that the way you read it, Mr. Zuber?
Yeah, but that's something Judge Garst also has talked about for
Right.
a while, that
He's-
it's just statewide.
He's been keeping me,
Supposedly all state agencies are going that way. You may have seen Governor Roundup talking about that too.
right.
That it's coming up. So I think they're just looking for format right now.
One of the big
Judicial
questions they have, for example, if you've got information in the cloud and there's, for example, if it's child custody and you reopen a case, or how easy and reliable is it going to be to go to the cloud and get information that you need to reopen cases? And that's just one example, but there's a lot of things to be worked out to make sure that it's fair to everybody using the system. So I just want to make you aware of that. Don said about all I need to let you know as far as financially. We'll get you an update on the budget here at the next study session. So that's all I have. Do we have a need of a closed session for anything? Because the state's attorney, as I understand, doesn't have anything, but he plans to be at our next study session to update us on some issues that I'm sure you'll want to hear about. Anything else to come before the meeting? Can I have a motion to adjourn, please?
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Helsley moves. Is there a second, please? Andy, Patrick moved to, or seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. We are adjourned. Only